Hey everybody, my name is Holly Lamb and welcome to Lamb Living. In this video, I'm changing out some early spring decor for Memorial Day, which is in a few weeks. We're now in the beginning of May, and so as school comes to an end, we have 3 weeks left, 3 weeks of children, and Memorial Day weekend, the kids are out the Friday before. We have a couple of days of in-service after Memorial Day, but then summer will begin. So I am tickled to be a part of the First Friday playlist, and our theme is Patriotic Decor. There we go, just on the front porch here, changing out my flag. You saw one of our neighborhood cats go by, and my across the street neighbor Margaret was headed out, so I gave her a little wave, and now we have our flag up. And I trade that out off and on. I'll probably leave it up through the 4th of July. And so we're gonna start off with a door hanging here. I got this heart, a wooden door hanger, or I guess MDF, at Family Dollar at Valentine's Day time. And after the holiday, they always go on sale. So I'm gonna make this reversible. And on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it with that plaster Waverly chalk paint, give it a couple of coats so we have something nice to decoupage on. And then I got those farm napkins from Hobby Lobby, and they're Patriotic Decor. All their napkins are always on, I think they're on 40% off, I wanna say, maybe 50. But those are new at Hobby Lobby right now. And they have a nice pattern to them. You'll see I'm gonna be lining up the pattern. And I'm gonna keep that, I got that little detail brush out because I wanna keep that little cut down the middle of the heart. I feel like that's very nice and interesting. And then on the other side, I'm gonna take this napkin, which I purchased at Tuesday morning, and I'm gonna put that on the opposite side to go with my blue and white and all the blues that I use at my house. And it is beautiful. And this napkin is a 3-ply napkin, and I'm gonna be saving the back part there, that's 2 plies right there, for later. And so you're gonna see those come back, and I'm gonna be printing on those with my new color printer in just a little while. But these from Hobby Lobby, I think were just 2-ply. I wanna say they were 2-ply. And so I always just kind of rough up a corner and without tearing it, and then that pulls apart the little layers and I can pull it apart. I know there's lots of different ways that you can pull apart napkin plies, but that's just the one that works for me. No water, tape, or any kind of glue required. I just kind of give it a little rough up in a corner and then pull off the layers and save those for later. And of course, we're going to be printing on some of it, but then I use others to clean my paintbrushes and wipe up messes and that sort of thing. Nothing goes to waste. All right, so here's this pattern. I love this kind of farmhouse folksy look on this, but it is patterned and it does have white or clear sections, which makes it super easy to tear apart. And so I am using the tear apart method with my little detail brush I have with water, and I am just kind of tearing, putting some water and then pulling it apart, easy, easy, easy. And anything that is kind of cut in half or just partial picture, it's getting pulled off, and then I will piece together the pattern so it's as ordered as possible. I put that little barn down in the tip of the heart, and I'm trying to get it straight here so it's hanging straight. And then I'm going to take off that little piece. I don't know why I left that on there, but it's got to go. It's just a little piece and a little part, so that's not going to stay. And then I'll take this one and do the same thing. I'll take my water and I will tear off any of those parts of the napkin that have just a partial part of the print. And then it just, because it's a pattern, it just kind of slides together nicely. Now, the big superstar in this particular video is down in the right-hand corner there. I ordered from the Jami Vintage site, which I put in the description box. I ordered her Debbie's DIY Crystal Clear Chandelier Liquid Patina. I've always wanted to try it. I'm a big fan of Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge, clear Mod Podge for outdoor, Mod Podge for the dishwasher. I'm a fan, but I wanted to try it. I've seen a lot of my favorite crafters, Jami and Zeb included, use this liquid patina, and they have several different patinas, but I'm using the one that is similar to Mod Podge. It's the Crystal Clear Chandelier, and it has really lived up to its name in my eyes in this video. I use it in several different ways, and of course the first way here is just your straight Mod Podge. It went on super thin and easy. It did exactly what I needed it to do. It adhered the napkin. It didn't tear it. I was still able to kind of lift up my print and replace it down. And then I let it dry. And then here I go with my nail file, which I use to sand, decoupage. And I am kind of cleaning up those little staples that are holding it together and just giving it that rustic look with my nail file. And that decoupage medium gave me a perfect hold for that nice distressing of decoupage. I love that. I love to distress any little wrinkles. It just makes it look like the picture is just part of the wood, and that is the look I am going for. Now, this particular napkin went both ways. It went two different ways. The Farmhouse Patriotic napkin had a print that all went one direction. But this one, right down the middle, the birds are going one way, and then the other side, the birds are going the opposite. So I had to cut it down the middle. I couldn't put it all on like I did the other. And so here I go, taking off a little bit of the design as it goes through the white. It also has that white background, which makes it very nice and very easy to piece together. And so here it is. I did the exact same thing as I did before, piecing it together. I left that beveled edge on this side with the white showing, and then sanded it with that nail file again that I ordered from Amazon, and I have those linked below as well. Now this Celebrate, this is mesh tulle ribbon that I got at Michael's. And I am going to do my bow in a different way. I'm going to use 4 zip ties, white zip ties from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to just unroll my mesh just a little bit, zip tie it in the middle, and because it's mesh, it has all kinds of holes for me to put my little plastic ties through. And I'm going to tighten it in the middle there, you see. Then I'm going to cut up to that tie, just below it actually. You'll see me put a little dab of hot glue. I didn't want it to ravel, and I wanted to give it just a little bit of strength right there on the zip tie. And then I'll come back and I'll trim that off. But then I take right up next to that first zip tie, I'm going to tie off each of these tails to gather them together. Right underneath the bow, I put in quotation marks because it's not technically a bow. It's just a gathered section of mesh tulle. And I love this mesh tulle. It's nice and pliable, but it holds its form, which makes it really nice. Look how it just naturally folded there and made those pretty little blousy bow-like shapes. And so now I have 3 zip ties in there. I'm going to cut off one more little piece, wrap it around all those zip ties, and then I'm going to put a loose zip tie in the wrapping, in that little knot. There it is. I'm just going to kind of keep it loose. I'll tighten it up for what I need it for. That's going to be our hanger. So it's just kind of in a loose circle, and then I tie that in there with just a little, you know, regular shoelace knot, I suppose, and a little square knot, I guess I want to say. And then I trim off some of those little tails, and look, out of one long piece of mesh and then one little short piece that I wrap around zip ties and 4 zip ties, I have a bow that will go on both sides of my door hanger here I have hanging on the pantry door in my kitchen. And then you saw it on the other side as well. It just is on the wire, so it easily flips around. And now we're going to, there's Toby saying hi. We're gonna take these 4 little signs for Easter, and we're going to, on the other side, yep, there they are, little mason jar, little chunky tag, and then this little shelf sitter I made out of scrap wood. And on the other side, I'm going to make them patriotic decor. So I'm not covering up all the cute Easter goodness on one side. I'm just putting it, making patriotic decor on the other. And now my superstar, I will still be using that crystal clear chandelier, but the next superstar in this video is my computer. And so I'm going to be printing out, and my printers. And so I'm going to be printing from Deidre's Etsy shop, Our Upcycled Life. And I have a link to both her YouTube channel with fantastic tutorials on how to do this reverse decoupage method, and printing on napkins. I've learned so much from her channel, but also her Etsy shop is great, and you can order these graphics, and when she sends them to you electronically through your email, she sends them in so many different ways. And I'm going to use this reversed print so that I can reverse decoupage it on this other side of this crown for the King of Kings. And I'm going to take the liquid patina, and I'm going to put a thin coat on the ink. Now I have a laser jet printer. I have a laser printer, and that's the best way to do this. Now Deidre has several videos on using a laser jet printer versus an inkjet printer, but she likes the laser best, and I agree. I used to have a color inkjet printer, but we were printing envelopes for my daughter's Save the Date cards that were sent out in, I guess, October, and it broke. And there was a big piece that got kind of stuck in there or something. I don't know. Anyway, my husband said it was broken and couldn't be fixed. So I decided I wanted to upcycle or upscale for my printer, for my color printer, and I got a laser. So we are going to, I've rubbed off all the backing paper from this copy paper on that one from my laser jet that's black and white, but let's try my new laser jet on the reverse decoupage method. And so I've done it with my inkjet, and it worked out fine. Now some of the ink would rub off as I was rubbing off the paper. You saw me rubbing, and I'm just pulling off the back of the copy paper, which we're going to do as well on this, because you put it ink side down into your decoupage medium, which I normally use Mod Podge Matte, but I'm using the Debbie's DIY patina, and you set it down. Now that ink is going to go into that decoupage medium, and you just push it in. You push it. You don't want it to smear and move, but you just push it in, and then you let it dry for 24 hours. Come back a day later to rub off that backing paper from the copy paper. This is just plain old copy paper. Don't use cardstock, because that's more to rub off. Now this is important. See me trimming right here. There was a little bit of overlap. I don't want my paper to overlap, because then the ink won't go onto the wood. And I want it to go into this paint of this wood, and if it were overlapping, there would be a bump of paper that I couldn't get off, and then the paper on top would come off anyway, or the ink on top would come off. So always trim it to one layer in this decoupage medium so the ink will stay there. Look at it just coming to life. And now, because I have this laser color printer, the possibilities is so exciting. All right, so to embellish these patriotic items, I'm gonna take one of these old shirts. This is a shirt, you see that pretty patch there from one of my old elementary schools, and that patch I will be saving in my quilting box for a future quilt someday. And but this shirt was too big, so I decided to, I like this lightweight denim look to embellish, and so I am going to rip it apart. You see, you just cut the hem and then just give it a good tear, and it tears straight and it tears great. I love the little ruffled look it gives, that little razzled look. And so a little hot glue later, we're going to put that on the bottom. This is just the buttons, obviously, that you see. And then I'm going to take my hot glue. You see how I have it kind of, the part that I tore is kind of using a little ruffle on the bottom. I'm going to put hot glue in there and make it kind of flare out just a little bit onto my parchment here. Of course, the hot glue's not going to stick to the parchment, so I just put the hot glue in and then just put it on the parchment nice and straight, so that I'm making a little bit thicker base underneath that little embellishment with the torn shirt. And that is giving it a little bit thicker base, because that piece, that's just an old piece of scrap wood from when my husband was building the deck out in the out in our backyard. And so that wasn't very thick. Okay, now look at these little pretties. What a cute little tub of pretty things. These are Sola wood flowers, and they just go with everything. These are just the neatest things. If you have not ever tried Sola wood flowers, you're gonna be hooked. Just don't, I don't know. I don't know if I should get you started. They are so much fun. Look at all those little flowers. All the flowers sitting on the table right now are Solas, and they are beautiful and not that expensive, not too bad at all. They come in big packs, and look at all the designs. I just kind of put in this little bowl that I put out for our shelf sitter. Love that. Okay, now this is the quickest one I do in this video. I'm taking this cute little Easter chunky tag, and this is just printed on regular copy paper, and I'm going to I'm trimming it down. I guess I had to. I just wanted to make sure it was as even on this as possible. And I'm going to, just glue it on, just decoupage it on, let it dry, and then I'm going to take that nail file and file down to where it is nice and close, just like I did on the other side with that cute little JRV decoupage for Easter. And you see me just pushing down on those edges. I want to kind of push it into the wood. I'll let that dry, file off the excess, and then give it one more layer of the liquid patina, and it's done. And while the paper is wet with the decoupage medium, I just take a pencil and poke through that hole. Now, instead of the little beaded garland that was on it to begin with, because I think this tag was originally a St. Patrick's Day tag. I got it Hobby Lobby on 90% off. But I took that off because it had a green bead. And I want patriotic, obviously. It worked with the Easter, but it's not going to work here. So I'm going to make a chunky tassel from this twine I got in the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. Actually, it's not Crafter Square. It is part of the Shore Living line, which is out right now in our Dollar Trees. And I'm going to take, and of course I'm going to cut the bottom, but I have wrapped it around that chunky sign about 30 times, and then I made the head of the tassel and wrapped about 12 times around that. And now I've fed that little tail through the center of the head, and I am now going to, instead of tying it off at the top, I'm going to just put a little hot glue in between several of the pieces of twine and to pull that head together. And so I am just going to tie it right up next to the chunky sign, and then tuck that little tail down in there, give it one more little bit of glue, hold that together until it sets, and look at this chunky tassel. Looks like it's coming right off that flagpole. So there we go. There it is on the Easter side, darling little girl with her chicks. And here we go. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. All right, so now we're going to move on to this chunky sign with the Patriot. Now on the opposite side of that baby chick is, this is another piece of scrap wood from something around here, but it had a crack in it, so I had used the other side for Easter. But I'm going to cover that crack up with this leftover napkin from Tuesday morning. And, you know, same process of decoupaging napkin, decoupage medium on the wood, put down the napkin, put a little bit on top, tap down all wrinkles that you can, and then after it's dried, just sand the living daylights out of the edges and the corners. And this one, I had distressed that little chick on the one side, so I went ahead and just went to town on this side as well, so it kind of matched. If you saw any of the sides, this would be probably a shelf center on a hutch or something, so you wouldn't see the Easter side, but you might see the sides. And now I'm going to take these little slats from Walmart. I got them for $2 on clearance. I'm not sure why those were on clearance, because they still carry them. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't arguing. I was just getting a good deal. And then I took my plaster chalk paint, and I'm going to give it 2 coats. And so it is ready for decoupage. You always want to have a light color so that your design will show up nicely and crisp. So here I go with that back 2 plies, and I pulled them apart. So now I have, you know, 1 layer. You can see right there. And I am cutting it ever so slightly smaller than a sheet of 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And I'm just putting some tape on the edges, and I'm going to send that through my color printer, and it will print my own napkin, and so that I could use for decoupage. So there I go. I have, of course, tested it, and I need to have it napkin side up. And here I go to the Graphics Fairy. Now, if you've never been to the Graphics Fairy, check out the link in my description box. It is a time killer. I love this website. I could surf on it like I surf on Pinterest. I could just waste all kinds of time on there. There's so many pretty things. And they had this patriotic set, and I loved it. So look at that. Now, because I'm going to put it onto this mason jar I had prepped for Easter, and so on this opposite side, because I am using a laser color printer, I don't have to do anything to my ink to set it, because my laser printer doesn't use ink, it uses toner. And so that's why the laser printer works so much better on the reverse decoupage and this sort of thing. The ink doesn't run because it's not ink. And so if you do have an inkjet printer, all you need to do is take it to the bathroom and get your hairspray out and spray it lightly, let it dry, spray it again. I like to do 2 sprays because I used to use my inkjet color printer, and that worked just fine. Same thing for this. It's made with toner, so I don't have to prep it, but if I did, you could either spray it with the hairspray trick, or you could take it outside and use your matte top coat and spray it. I like to do it twice with drying time in between, but I don't have to do that step because now since our other one broke and I upgraded to a laser printer, I am just tickled to say that the opportunities and the possibilities, my mind is just going crazy thinking of all the cool things that we could do. And of course I got it for wedding purposes. You heard me say it. Right. Yes, we are using it for some wedding items, but yes, it is for the wedding. Right, that's what we say around here, for the wedding. Okay. Now, I'm going to use some of my shirt, and I'm going to make some long strips for ribbon. And I think I do 3. And there's my little Patriot. It didn't quite go to the end of the slat. So did you see how I took a little bit of the scraps that I pulled off the sides of the print on that little Patriot with his flag, and I put it at the bottom to kind of make kind of a path or a road or something. So I'm just going to take these long strips of shirt and that one little strip that I had left over from the Crafter Square lace ribbon, and we're going to tie a knot around that. I'm just going to hot glue this nice and flat to my scrap wood that has been decoupaged. Oh, distressed. It looks so cute. And I'm just going to tie this into a square knot over on the left-hand side there. And I'm going to run that lace into it. And that's all that's going to have to happen to this one. This piece of wood was nice and chunky, so it didn't need any building up or bulking up. So I put the ribbon up on top. No need for any of that with this one. It stands just fine. And there we go. Just a square knot. Now it just needs a little trimming, as most ribbons and bows do. So our jean shirt is no different. And voila! One side it's a darling little Easter chick, and the other side a nice memorial of the patriots who went to war for our freedom, and some of them came home, some of them didn't. And on Memorial Day, we remember those people, and we honor their families and the sacrifice that they made for our freedom. Look at that little chick. Look at the solo wood flower. Oh, all right, so here's that little drummer boy again, finishing this Star Spangled Banner, and here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just taking the stretchy bracelet off my wrist, and I'm using that for the embellishment. No glue necessary, it's elastic. And so I can wear it as a bracelet, and I can put it on my little hanging sign there. It can switch around for the Easter side if I want. And it looks so pretty. And then when I'm finished with that and put away my little mason jar until 4th of July or Veterans Day, then I can just put the bracelet back up in my jewelry stash. There's lots of good crafting opportunities up there. Lots of beads and things. And here we are with my little vignette on the dining room table. There's some Dollar Tree plates and bowls I've used for a little riser, and my darling little salt and pepper shaker with the truck and the little camper to go with my napkins that I used on the wall hanging. And that reverse decoupage, oh my goodness, we're just at the beginning of that. So much fun. So much fun. I want to thank Sarah from Jujubee DIY and Lisa from Our Gray House. They're our hosts for the First Friday Open Challenge, and our guest host is Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack. She's a lot of fun to watch. I always get a chuckle. She likes to put a lot of humor into her videos. So please go down to the description box and check out the playlist. Lots of patriotic inspiration down there from my friends Sarah and Lisa, and then Charlene. Check out their YouTube channels. Lots of wonderful, wonderful crafters to be seen down there. And I want to thank you so much for watching my video today. Please like and subscribe, and God bless. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.